the story of the Red Mage, Nightkin. Hi. Greetings, Kimiko. I have been gone wading through the sea of ancient texts, but we've yet to finish out any promising cures for her condition. I did, however, recall something which may help narrow down our search long ago. Lombard had our particular book, which we would read with uncommonly intensity. I've forgotten the title now, but I do remember the insides were scrawled the memoirs of a deranged killer who was executed at the heretics in Isgard. This criminal is said to have committed a number of ritualistic murders, all carried out with the most particular form of thaumaturgy. I merely thought of in a vulgar choice of reading material at the time, but now I wonder if that particular form of thaumaturgy was what kept Libbards glued to the pages. It sounds positively awful, and yet it might just give us the clues we've been missing. I'll see if I can track those memoirs down. I understand it's quite a rare volume, and when it comes to hunting down exclusive treasures, it may be worth consulting a professional treasure hunter. Kimiko, are you acquainted with Midnight Zoo? Why don't you take Anya and pay her a visit? I will try my hand at a different route. It's a long shot, but Rowena is known to stock a truly erratic range of wares. Over to Midnight Zoo we go. Ah, it's you. Something you need? A heretic's memoir for the young lady here? Bit of an odd request, but who am I to judge? Oh, so you're working with XIV. Tia. I'm just calling Tia from now on. Then, though you wanted it for some sort of tasteless personal collection. Let me think now. Is Guardian Heretic ritualistic killings? Oh yeah, hells. It couldn't be. One of my fellow scavengers was just telling tales of treasures he's spied on in the Great Goblin Library. A rare book called Nightkin. Claims he glimpsed the title as he was running for his life through Ripswan's quadrangle? Tis a sought after tome for collectors of a marsupial? Said to be written by an Isgardian murderer who believed himself some manner of demon, half a diary, half a glamour, and clock full of bloody lunacy. Well, it certainly fits the description. We should head back to Rowena and share the news with Tia. Thank you for your help, Midnight. Yes, Nightkin, that was the title. Written by the killer who thought himself born of fiends. Such a belief that certainly branded him a crazy heretic in Isgard, but a suspect the truth is he was much like Ilsgard, a mage who dissolved too deeply in forbidden arts. And you say the book was seen in the Great Goblin Library. I have not entered that place since the Sylvans departed this land. What of you, Kimiko? Like the back of your hand, eh? Well then, I vote for you to be our guide. I had known the library's guardians had turned hostile, I see. I am sorry, Aya, but you have to remain behind. No sense putting you in a situation where you might be forced to fling spells. Oh, I wouldn't have liked to have seen those fabled selves, but you're right, of course. Come, Kimiko, let us hurry through the hinterlands. Ere come some interstriped scavenger makes way with our prize. Intrepid scavenger. Intrepid. Off we go. Up and away! As far as... yeah. Oh, over there. Fly over Alexander. Look at his ass. His eyes are up. I still need to beat that raid. Oh man. So big. That's what she said. But yeah, I'm 12 sometimes. Alright, let's do this. Buddy old pal. Right, let's not dwell once we're inside. We must straight for Rhapsody's quadrangles and leave as soon as we acquire the tote. From what I remember, the book Stormblood would read was of a fair thickness and round, bound in leather covering. Hopefully, it will not be too difficult to find. Let's do this then, Tia. Tia. Now we're in this area, huh? I will burn you! Onward. Oh, hell no. Ooh. Ooh. The guy was like, hey, what's up, buddy? I saw you took care of my friends over there. I'll kill you. books? Yeah. Books? Do I need all of them or just the one? The year Stormblood murdered occur within a member of the clemency and struck down the knight of a common birth. The knight who with name as Tribeful? What with his blade and the purest priest blood after witnessed the unspeakable abuse of an orphan with under the presence of the exorcism, may it convince that the face of consumed within by praise. What? What? It's not the book. It's that book. Oh. The page contains yeah, no, that's not it either. Ah, the Arcania Killer. During the Thrones Dynasty, a series of unresolved killings took the very foundation of all the and murder of the. Oh wait, no, that's not the right book. It's Killer, but not the right book. The ink is faded and is ineligible. Is it this book? Diary of the Goldsmith. No. Oh, hi! Boss battle. Who do you think you are? Just being able to come into this come in like this? How dare! Oh no. Still doing the same thing? It is! Oh my god! Oh, so done. Oh man. Oh, they don't disappear. Well, that's great. Oh, good thing. Black magic. Oh, are you kidding me with this? Damn it. realm of them. Good. The book's behemoth has fallen. Here's the size that he hit the book. Nightkin! I am the descendant of demons, a scion of tainted blood. It is for my brethren, born into darkness of the Nightkin, that I pen these words. The holy men of will incite my teachings are madness, the ravings of a deranged killer, but you shall learn that I scribe henceforth is eldritch truth, and their faith the twisted ill. Yes, we found it. There can be no mistake. We did it. It's here. You did well in there, Kimiko. I've never acquired a book from a library as such a strenuous endeavor. May I see the tome? Yes, the author does certainly seem convinced that his demonic heritage. I can see how the clergy of the town would have passed these writings off as a heretic's delusion, but the spellcraft contains within an odd but incoherent rambling. Within his memoirs, this mage has provided specific instructions on the workings of forbidden sorcery. Little wonders that Lombard spent so much of his time studying the tome's secrets. But there is more, much more. Let us return to Ildersire. Aya needs to hear this. Oh, whoops. I hear Ildersire, but in my mind, I'm like, Mordana? Marjan? You want me to go to Mordana? I go to Mordana. Marjan. Alright. Ah, I completed it. Cool. Give me a few more, and then I get my red mage. Grrr, I hope. I've just finished slogging page of the night, and there were truths I discovered which made it difficult to continue, but along the sense of horror. Thus I bid you listen until the end of my I shall begin with the author's himself. Oh. Frozen. Ow! Uh-oh. And so this man who wrote the Nightkin was not merely some disturbed killer, but a mage who had mastered agents. Exactly so. A century ago in Ilsgard, the monster in mortal gaze discovered or devoured all manner of forgotten texts, teaching himself everything from red magic to Mark-Cheney summoning rituals. The secrets to his seemingly exhaustible power lies in his bloodline. He was directly descendant from a Mochi archmage who had ingested the lifeblood of the void-sent Queen Lilith. In fact, it was with the very Archmage Magnus that the vile practice of infusing oneself with Vorten blood first began. I believe I told you how the Red Mages later outlawed these rituals, but the damage had already been done. Lilith's insidious energies had been passed on in the Archmagnus heirs. This clan of ether-drinking spellcasters began known as those who were born into darkness, the Nightkin. The revelations which truly took me, however, was yet to come. I discovered that Ilber was a scion of the Nightkin clan, and quite like so are you, Arya. The book's author was of the Wise family, a surname shared by Lombard. With no small account the trepidation, I determined to look once more into your family records, and I learned that the Clorwise name was also prevailed as your mother's side. This can be no coincidence. Are you saying that Voitzen blood runs in my veins? It explains your preternatural strong affinity to black magics, and I remember that Ildra was of a similar arcane deposition of connection is even more obvious. He had no need to ingest fiendish blood. He simply awoke the corruption from which had already lurked within him. The ritual for doing so were clearly described in the pages of the Nightkin. Were the rituals performed upon me too? Again, it is doubtful, considering the complexity required. My theory is that your latent talents were stirred into wakefulness quite by accident, though your introduction into the ranks of the Red. I wonder, however, why the same awakening that took years for Liver occurred so swiftly in you. In an infinity, mayhaps, whatever the case, that this unstable condition was triggered by your desire for control. Considering, explained Ellsworth's parting barb about the injustice of your fate. But all is not lost. There is way to undo the curse of your lineage. The first coded drew Lilith into our physical world and provided a mortal host for her soul to possess. He stood unflinched before the fiendish queen he had summoned and forged with her a bargain of blood and darkness. Once the Archmagnus had partaken of her essence, however, he trapped her inside a heavily glazed box. Her material from this captured Lilith was unable to return to her Sharuly realm. It was written that her imprisonment on this plane of existence was a necessary act. At least the potency of her blood began to wane. Do you understand what that means, Anya? I think so. The corruption inside me will last only as long as the Voitzen Queen remains in our world. Oh, I see. We need to find that box and banish Lilith back into the void. Exactly right. Defeat the Voitzen, and the curse upon your blood is lifted. Of course, a creature of Lilith's structure would ordinarily present a mere insurmountable challenge. We are fortunate that Summoner bond her essence to a feeble vessel to prevent her from manifesting her full power. When you should stand a chance against this lesser incarnation. Now, it appears that author succeeded in tracking down Lilith's prison, and though the book makes no mention of the event, it is entirely possible that the box passed into our possession. Our surest bet will be to follow in his footsteps. Rest be prepared, by friend. We are in exciting adventures ahead of us. The end of Nightkin. Thank you for watching my broadcast test video. Going ending here, but look, I will be continuing. I'll catch you next time. Peace and stay funky.